Greetings everyone. We're now on tutorial sheet 6, question 7. Access Fund recently paid a dividend, D0 of $1.50. The company expects to have supernormal growth of 15% for 2 years before the dividend is expected to grow at a constant rate of 5%. The firm's cost of equity is 12%. What is the firm's intrinsic value today? So today we only have one group submitting for this question. So I'm going to now hand over to Shauna K. Mariah and Sarah Salmon. Right, they will take us through the solution for this question. Over to you guys.
Okay, good night, guys. My name is Shauna K. Mariah Roden, and I'll be presenting on question 7, unit 6. So the question states, Access Fund recently paid a dividend of 1.50. The company expects to have a supernormal growth of 15% for 2 years before the dividend is expected to grow at a constant rate of 5%. The firm's cost of equity is 12%. What is the firm's intrinsic value today? So, as you can see, the question has indicated that this is a supernormal growth question. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to write down the informations that were given to us from the question first. Now, we were given D0, which is 1.50, and the two supernormal growth rates, which is the 15%. And we were also given the constant growth rate, as well as the cost of capital equal the 12%. Now, we now need to find D1, and we are going to use D0 to find D1, which is the 1.50 multiplied by 1 plus G, which is the 1 plus the growth rate, and you convert it into a decimal, and this is how you come by the 1.15 equals the 1.725. Now you'll use the 1.725 to find D2, after which you'll use the D2 1.92, 1.98 to find D3. So after you have found the supernormal growth rates, you'll now move on to there always be another year, an additional year, which is the constant growth rate that you'll have to find, and this is the D3. Now after which you'll go on to finding the terminal value, which is the formula. This is the formula is dn plus 1 over ks minus growth rate, and here you'll have the D3, as you can see, 1 2 3 over ks minus the growth rate. After you have done your subtraction here, you now go on to dividing 0.7 into 2.07, which will now give us the terminal value of 29.7. Now after you have done this, you'll use this information to go on to finding P0. Now you're going to use the answer for D1 to divide it by the 1.10 plus the answer for D2 divided by 1.12, and you'll put it to the second power, plus the terminal value of 29.7 divided by 1.12 to the second power as well. The last two calculations should always have the same power, which is the second to the second power. After which you have done your division, your calculations up here, then you'll add them all up, and this is how you'll come by finding P0 equal $26.80. That is all, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shauna K. It seems Sarah Salmon missed out on this one, so that was only from Shauna K. All right, so thanks much. As usual, I will put my spin on the solution just to give another perspective. So here we go. It's a multi-stage dividend payment scenario, as we have growth of 15% for 2 years, followed by a long-term growth of 5%. So we know step 1 says, calculate the dividends for the supernormal growth years, then find their present value. We have D0 is 150, so we know calculate dividends. We're going to calculate D1 and D2 using a growth rate of 15%. So $1.50 multiplied by 1 plus 15% gives us $1.73. And for D2, $1.73 times 1 plus 15% gives us $1.99. So we have our D1 and D2. We now need to find their total present value. And here we go. So $1.73, the cost of capital is 12%. So divide by 1.12, 1 plus 12%, raised to the power 1 plus D2 $1.99 divided by 1.12 to the second power. And that works out to be $3.13. So we have now completed step 1. On to step 2. For step 2, we are to calculate the terminal value, which is again the same as the horizon value, and represents the expected price at the end of the supernormal growth years. In this case, we have 2 periods for supernormal growth, so we have D1, D2. So we want the price at the end of year 2, which is P2. Right? The price at the end of the supernormal growth years. So for P2, we have to find the future dividend, which would be D3, the year after year 2, divided by K minus G. Since we didn't calculate D3, we can do so right now as D2 multiplied by 1 plus G. So here we go. D2, $1.99 times 1 plus the long-term growth rate, 5%, divided by the cost of capital, 12%, minus the long-term growth rate of 5%. And all of this works out to be $29.86, which is our terminal value. We now want to find the present value of this amount. So let's go to the present value. It's year 2, so we divide by 1.12 to the power 2, and that gives us $23.80. So we have now completed steps 1 and 2, and we know step 3 says simply add the results from step 1 and step 2 to get the final value, which is our intrinsic value. So when we add those values, $3.13 plus $23.80, we get $26.93. So P0, or intrinsic value, is $26.93. And note that I rounded in each case to 2 decimal places, so the answer will be off based on the rounding errors a bit, but not something to worry about. Alright, so that's it for tutorial sheet 6, question 7. Over to you guys and to your preparation.